All right. And hopefully the chat works tonight. But I believe we're live. So welcome back to Salty Saints. My name is Hayden Holm, and tonight I am joined by a phenomenal panel of guests. We've got with us Roy from At the Iron Rodcast. Be sure to check him out on YouTube and subscribe. We've got LDS Scooby, and you're mainly on TikTok, is that right?
Mainly on TikTok, gonna start doing some stuff out here on YouTube.
Awesome. That's super cool. I have yet to look at TikTok. I'm just too scared. I don't understand it.
It's a jungle.
And then from Instagram,
The Wild
we have
West
King
of the
Mosiah. It is. It's wild out there. So we got King Mosiah. He's big on Instagram, and he is also in my ward. So I call him Brother Mosiah, and this does count as ministering. So, boom! Look at that. We're getting a twofer tonight. Yeah.
That's good.
And then we've got Sam St.
That's how
Laurent.
we should do ministering.
Wouldn't that be great?
That's how we
It's
should
just
do ministering.
podcast
Every
ministry.
elder quorum.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Dude,
just start
that's-
doing podcasts.
Just make a production out of it.
Yeah,
This
you know
is
how many
COVID
full wards
ministry.
would get canceled?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then we have with us Sam St. Laurent at Through the Mist. Be sure to check out his channel and subscribe. And tonight I have gathered these minds together because we are going to discuss a handful of things. But first and foremost, there is some news that we want to get to. The church recently announced the age change for sister missionaries, and I want to get some reactions. So Roy, big reaction out of you. Let's talk about it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. First off, sister missionaries rock. Like I think they're very effective at teaching the gospel. As many jokes as elders will make about sisters, and whatever it may be, because sometimes we don't see eye to eye. Sisters are extremely effective, and I think it can only be. We want more of them out in the field. So I was really excited about that. My sister served a mission, and her thing, she just wanted to serve a mission so bad. She didn't want to wait that year, and she tried so hard to go early or whatever she could do, and she couldn't do it. So it was hard for her to wait like that, even though she knew she wanted to go. Like, let's just get them out. If they're excited to serve,
Yeah.
let's get them out.
Looks like the antis got
That's
Roy's
my-
internet there for a second.
Come on,
But I
bro.
love that. LDS Scooby, let's turn it over to you.
Oh.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've always loved asking sister missionaries like, what made you want to go, because it was never like expected, and that's always been wonderful. So I've actually had some cousins that now this age change affects them as it did me when I was a senior in high school. My birthday was a month after the age change from President Monson, so it was one of those things where it's really cool to now talk with my cousins who are 18-year-old seniors, and this affects them. So we've been able to connect, and it's been really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mosiah, what are your thoughts?
I just wonder how many more missionaries is going to, like, the church as a whole is going to have now just because of that change. Because
Oh, yeah.
I remember when they changed it for the first time. I was actually in my mission when they changed the age for women to 19. And I remember all of a sudden our mission, I mean, we were just a small mission in Chile. And then all of a sudden it just boomed, and we saw so much success. So I think, yeah, the church, I don't know what the numbers are. I think they have like 80,000 missionaries right now. They're gonna have who knows how many. So I think it's great. Love
I
it.
think that's fantastic. Sam, what are your thoughts?
I don't really have strong opinions either way. I think it's cool, I guess.
Why is that? You have
know,
to
I
have
guess-
strong opinions about the age change. Everybody does.
Yeah, when it came out, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. I don't. Yeah.
We passed the age,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
of
19,
relevancy.
18. Yeah.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
interesting thought: is this year I think we're leading the most conversion baptisms out of the entire church history, and now they're lowering the age for more missionaries to go out. So it's one of those like, oh, the Lord is hastening His work, kind of a thing. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah.
That is
But-
super cool.
But at the same time, though, like, it eventually will just level out. It should level out, technically. Right?
Yeah, I believe that's what happened with
think
the
so.
initial age change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
So-
there was a big boom.
Aside,
And then-
aside from those who will not decide not to go because of the year gap. So you will have
Yeah.
like an increase because those people will go immediately after high school. But yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, aside from that,
Yeah.
not much.
I do remember it because the age change happened while I was on my mission as well. And I remember before going on my mission, I had never heard of two words. anxiety and depression. And after the age change, that is all I heard for like the next 3 years of like missionaries going home
so true.
for anxiety and depression. And I was like, that's a reason? You can go home for that? You mean the thing I feel every single day? You could go home for that? That's cheating. But that's why they call me Salty Saints. But so I think it's overall fantastic. Do we remember why? Was there ever a reason why they had the age for sisters older than the elders? Because that's something that I've never really thought too much about. But I would be interested in hearing your thoughts.
Isn't that because they wanted, obviously, they wanted sisters to focus on, getting married. It wasn't obviously their duty. So I guess that like, hey, it wasn't as strict. Also, maybe maturity levels. I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's what I saw. I had a sister missionary that was like a 45-year-old. She was knocking with us, and that was her second mission, from Argentina.
Wow.
And she was like, yeah, this is my second full-time mission. I'm like, what the heck? But now you don't see that a lot. You don't see that.
No, not a whole lot.
I would assume it's because of the 18 and a half just doesn't really sound right. So they just rounded off to 19. But because of the 18-month mission, it would make them about the same when they're finished with it.
Oh,
like,
I see.
Kind of like what Messiah was talking about. But
Yeah.
So I think what they're going for, it would not really a maturity thing. It's just they technically will come out of their mission if they both go at the 18 and 19 at the same age to kind of start dating and everything. They'll still be the same age.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I mean, 18 and a half doesn't really make sense. Oh, you have to be 18 and a half, because it's a.
I think.
Right.
I think. Who was it? All those in favor said that it was so that 22-year-olds will stop dating 18-year-old girls that are freshmen at BYU.
Ooh, that's a hot take, but that's going to start happening now. That's great. Yeah.
Well, I do think it's important to point out there that in both of the age change, they do say, we are not saying that you should go at 18, but if you are prepared and ready, that shouldn't be age should not be a reason. And I think that with the advent of like the internet becoming so much more accessible, there are so many more saints expanding their horizons and developing testimonies, that it just kind of is a make sense thing. Why postpone it? If they're ready, go for it.
For sure. Yeah. I agree with that. Totally. So now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this discussion here. So let me fake crack my knuckles and roll my shoulders here. So tonight's conversation, I got a message from a fan, apparently. So his name is Paul Riccio. He reached out through my Facebook Messenger, which I have not checked since I set up my account. So I apologize for that, Paul. But he sent a great question. He said the following. He said, I really enjoy your content and the way you approach real Latter-day Saint topics without the fluff. I'm blushing. I was wondering if you'd consider doing an episode of The Word of Wisdom. As a convert, I've always found it kind of funny and honestly confusing how big of a deal something like iced tea can be, when, at the same time, so many church members are downing thousands of calories a day in crumble cookies, swig sodas, and other sugary stuff. It seems like a topic that could use some more balanced discussion, where the principle meets modern culture. Would love to hear your thoughts on deep dive. Thanks, Paul. So that's from Paul. And so I believe I have captured what Paul is getting at through an Instagram reel that we are now going to play. So Sam, could you share your screen and let's play that reel, because I believe she captures most people's arguments about the Word of Wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a friendly face to the channel. So Roy and I have talked about this gal before. We are still not 100% sure if she is AI or not. Because the first time we did a review, I 100% thought she was AI. But then more videos came out. I kind of think she's AI. The voice sounds a little unnatural. The eyes,
movements are
I don't know. The movements are a little strange.
Pro or anti?
Something weird.
We're gonna find out. So
we already know. We already know.
Blame it on Mel. Good handle for an anti for sure.
That's right.
Sure.
All right, so let's get that party started.
Genuinely don't understand why people are still confused about why Mormons don't drink coffee. Guys, it's simple. Like, written in the 1800s by a man who practiced polygamy and had plural wives as young as 14, kind of simple. Joseph Smith? Yeah, that Joseph Smith. He rolled out the word of wisdom and he decided that hot drinks were bad. And by hot drinks, he meant coffee and tea, not hot chocolate, obviously. Because Mormons, they will rip coffee out of your hand like it's meth. But they'll set up a gourmet hot chocolate bar at every party, every baptism, every Relief Society event. You get the idea. Like 19 toppings, peppermint sticks, marshmallows, whipped cream, all of the sugar. But coffee, absolutely not. And no, it's not literally about temperature. Don't overthink it. Iced coffee, that is still evil. Iced tea, satanic. But steaming hot Mountain Dew, totally fine. Go ahead and burn your esophagus, Jesus. Tea is bad unless it's herbal, because apparently caffeine is the villain here. Until it's in a can of Diet Coke or dirty Diet Dr. Pepper. That's totally fine. Energy drinks? Oh, well, Joseph Smith didn't mention them, so go ahead and shotgun 300 milligrams of caffeine and call it a blessing. Decaf coffee? No, that's still coffee, still forbidden, but a neon green chemical energy drink with a warning label? Go ahead and chug it, babe. You're doing God's work. Hope this clears everything up, because it all makes perfect sense if you stop thinking critically and don't ask any questions.
Okay. All right.
So pro child abuse.
Yeah. So obviously this is a pro account. But yeah. So feel free to stop sharing your account so that our eyes can recover a little bit. So here's the deal. We first things first. I just got to get this out. First things first. I feel so bad for that little girl. She just wanted to spend time with grandma, but grandma's like, hey, it's time to loop you into grandma's anti-Mormon channel.
Grandma's crazy. Crazy.
Fix your own hot chocolate. It's going to be a part of my video.
Wait, that was grandma?
It's got to be her daughter. No.
That's her daughter. That has to be her daughter. That's not Josie. We didn't watch Josie.
Are you sure?
Just chilling there.
Josie's older. Josie has to be at least.
No idea. Sometimes when people get plastic surgery, it
56.
makes them look older than they actually are.
Okay, we're getting way off topic here.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I think it's AI because I think it's kind of got like a postmenopausal AI voice is what I was hearing. And so that's why I'm saying grandma, but I don't know.
Okay.
Cats, I don't know. But we'll say, for the sake of argument, we'll say this is not grandma, all right? This is the mom and the daughter, which that kind of makes it even worse. It's like, Mom, I just wanted hot chocolate. I didn't need a rant about religion that we're no longer a part of. Just crying out loud.
She's just trying to sip louder and louder.
Yeah, she's just like, clanging the glass, like, I'm done, please. Anyway, so I believe that those arguments pretty much encapsulate all of the arguments that most members, cultural members, and ex-members and anti-members will make. So let's start at the top. What stood out to you guys? We'll start off with Roy, then we'll hit it off to Scooby and Mosiah.
Well, what's okay? So I mean, first off, I don't know what she was like. She couldn't figure out what she was talking about. It was like, oh, why don't Mormons drink coffee? Well, Joseph Smith was a polygamist, and Mountain Dew should be scalding hot. Like I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
If
so
she knew what she was
you're
talking
saying
about,
it sounded
really.
like the comment section on any pro LDS account,
Yes.
like your comment section, you'll be talking about hey, went to church today with my family, and then someone will say, did you know Joseph Smith practiced polygamy? And you're going to own a planet one day. They just start throwing as much as they can.
It's nice to put a
you'll be
voice
like,
in the comment
religion.
section.
Religion is great. Religion is great. And they're like, have you read Galatians 1:8 before, brother? You're like, oh my gosh. Like, what in the world? No, okay. So first
Apparently
off,
we
she's
got
really
like
hung
Hulk
up.
Hogan back from the dead there. That's great.
Apparently she's hung up on the hot well, the only thing I can figure out that she kept consistent is that she's hung up on the hot drinks. She's like, why did they change it? Because she didn't like hot chocolate either. Like she was saying we're hypocrites because we drink hot chocolate. She didn't say this, but she was inferring or implying that we're hypocrites because we drink hot chocolate. Right. I don't know why. But another thing that she said, like, oh, coffee is so confusing. It even make I don't know if very many doctors would say, hey, a cup of coffee every single day for your whole life is extremely healthy for you. Like, I don't think you have to do much of a push to be like, hey, the coffee bean actually isn't super healthy for you. And the tea thing, like herbal tea is fine, but tea isn't. Yeah, the tea leaf is not good for you. Right. And I mean, you can go so deep into this because you go into Doctrine and Covenants where it talks about the word of wisdom. Why does it say that it's giving us the word of wisdom? Latter-day Saints just did a piece on this, and it's because of, in the future, conspiring men that want to do evil are going to have like ownership over these things. And I don't know, like, people get so mad about the 10% that the church takes from people. How much money does Starbucks take from people all year, every single day? But they don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to them, right? They don't give a crap because they're like, I enjoy it. But all of a sudden, if I enjoy paying tithing, I'm a bad person. Anyways, I'm getting off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just
anyways, real quick, to play AI models advocate here, I'm going to say, I think what she was saying was instead of having coffee every day, it's actually more unhealthy to have like Swig or Crumble or energy drinks every single day that are way more unhealthy than a cup of coffee. So I think what she was saying is it's probably more unhealthy to have those substitutes that are quote unquote okay than to just have a cup of coffee every day.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that if you're a member of the church, an active member of the church, and you've done any research on any of our ideas on health and how we should take care of our body, and you rationalize drinking 300 milligrams of caffeine every single day, like you're like, that is healthy for me, coffee isn't. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible rationalization. Like I'll die on that hill. But we've drawn the line on coffee and tea. It's not that deep. Now, I don't think anyone in the church has ever preached, hey, coffee and tea are bad. Energy drinks, great for you. Like, that's a ridiculous straw man as well. No one's preached that either.
Right. LDS Scooby, let's get your thoughts.
So there's kind of two different thoughts that I have. One, the word of wisdom isn't even about all that stuff, but do you guys even know
So
why?
It's all a red herring. Yeah.
This
so she's just kind of throwing stuff in the air.
Yeah, so we can kind of come back to that, but so I guess, have you guys even heard the story of why coffee and tea are expressly prohibited?
I've actually never have. I've only ever heard the tobacco story, right? Like it was dripping on Emma.
Okay. Yeah, that's like the more common one, right? So 1844, it was still just a word of wisdom. It was just a principle with a promise. But in the 1851 General Conference, on 9 September 1851, some 18 years after it was given, the patriarch of the church, John Smith, delivered a talk in General Conference on the word of wisdom. During his address, President Brigham Young arose and proposed that all saints formally covenant to abstain from tea, coffee, tobacco, whiskey, and all things mentioned in the word of wisdom. The motion was accepted unanimously and became binding as a commandment for all church members thereafter. Has anyone ever heard that story before?
No.
I actually have not.
Surprisingly, no.
2 days ago, years old, when I heard that story for the first time as well.
Wow. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, it says that Heber J. Grant emphasized that the word of wisdom was a commandment and warned that all who did not obey it, and he goes into it, but he officially made it a temple recommend requirement in 1921. Right. But there's another talk here by Brigham Young, journal discourses. But the reason undoubtedly that why the word of wisdom was
we won't hold it against you. Yeah, we're flipping our ties on this one.
But it says, even though it was not by commandment or restraint, was that at that time at least it had been given as a commandment, it would have been brought every man addicted to the use of these noxious things under condemnation. So the Lord was merciful and gave them a chance to overcome before he brought them under the law. So kind of an interesting thing. People are right when they say it wasn't by commandment or constraint when it was first given to Joseph Smith, but that's why we believe in the principle of ongoing revelation. Brigham Young brought us under covenant to abstain from specifically coffee, tea, tobacco, and whiskey. But then later it became a temple requirement through more revelation. Caffeine has not entered into that realm just yet. It hasn't been brought into the covenant, and it has not been expressly that. But we'll get to
wait. Are you telling me Brigham Young might have drank alcohol? Is that what you're telling me?
Not whiskey, at the very least.
Or Joseph Smith?
But
what?
Anyways, I think that's a really interesting story because that's the genesis of why those in particular have been named and expressly prohibited. So,
yeah, I like that. Mosiah, what are your thoughts?
Well, like, when you put yourself in the shoes of somebody that is not a member of the church or even a new convert, like, I could see and I can understand where they're coming from, right? Like, this might sound weird. Like, maybe you grew up in a family where like everybody just drinks coffee. Like, this is just so normal. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, right? And so whenever these people put this content out there, what it does is that accomplishes the marketing strategy that they want, like, which is to create an emotion to make Mormons seem like these weird people that are cultists, right? So whenever you see all these, like the AI chick, I don't even know if she's AI, but whenever they do this type of content, it has a strategy, it has a purpose, and the purpose is, and I'm telling that to the guy that made that asked that question, right? It's a really good, sincere question, but whenever, just be careful where you receive the answers, because usually people like, anti-Mormons, people that are critics of the church, we take the criticism, we take those things, and we listen to the opposite sides. But just keep in mind that they usually have an agenda and they usually have an intention to make us seem weird and to paint a caricature version. Wait a second, but to paint a caricature version of our beliefs.
Are you telling me that she seemed a little bitter towards the church? Is that right? Did she seem a little biased in her representation?
I actually call her rage bait. I would say like it's a 9 out of 10. It's a really good rage bait with like she has a really good writer. Not like Alyssa Grenfell.
Like the prompt creator. Yeah, because that's me.
Yeah, Hayden is Alyssa's writer, bro.
That's me, yeah. I've been moonlighting as her script writer. I'm like, backflips. Just double down on those. Yeah. We got it now.
I'm going to say that video was creative. In a simple glance,
that's interesting because that was the same rating that I gave her, 9.5
there you go.
On the rage bait scale. And that's from the Texan Judge.
She got me.
Okay, awesome.
She got me.
Right, and I will say something else.
Wait. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mosiah.
Go ahead. So just going into the serious stuff.
Yeah.
In like, if you look at studies as well, like I'm not going to claim that I know all these studies, but if you look at studies that have been done on Latter-day Saints, it is well known that Latter-day Saints, actually, men and women live longer. I remember some study that I saw somebody on a video, some of the LDS apologetics, they were talking about it, is they live, I remember, 11 years longer. Men live 11 years more than people outside the LDS church, simply because they live this health code. So in that standpoint, like, a lot of people, a lot of historians and researchers have even called Joseph Smith like a genius, or like, how did he know this? Because back then in 1830, how did he know? He was a lucky guesser, because back then in 1830, they didn't know that tobacco could actually lead to cancer. Nobody knew that.
Right.
So Joseph Smith was ahead of his time. If you think about it, there was something out there. I'm not getting into obviously we believe he's a prophet and he was able to see the Lord reveal this to him. But from a non-religious standpoint, you could see that Joseph Smith was onto something.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's important as well when we say things like that. Like, this isn't evidence that Joseph Smith was like. You can't be like, oh, because of this, that means Joseph Smith definitely was a prophet.
Yeah.
But it's really smart to live by the word of wisdom. You'll be good. Right. You'll be good. And I wish that we did talk a little bit more about people like, guys, eating unhealthy you shouldn't do it. I don't think God is going to be like, hey, this person who ate crumble cookies every single day for their whole life is better than this person who drank coffee. I don't think God's going to do that. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
It's missing the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree with that. And one of the things that I would like to point out is like going back to what you were saying, like, yeah, other people see that aren't ex-members, you know, and like holding their daughter hostage as they go on their anti-rant in front of the camera and they're scripting the whole thing. Think that's bad. Wait till you see their neon green energy drink. Ow. We're going to have to take it from the top, put the glass down. No. So here's the deal. I have a friend. He's my business partner, non-member. He's like 5'6". He's got a mohawk covered in tattoos, gauges. He's got a nose ring and everything. We are really good friends, really successful guy. And every time we go somewhere, people think that he's kidnapped me. And just kind of give you, he's like a little cholo, right? So the deal is, he has told me multiple times, he's like, hey man, I want to live like you. I want to be able to just not have any kinds of addictions or anything like that. And so he said, one day he's like, hey, I'm going to stop drinking. And I said, that's great, man. I'll join you, you know? So he stopped drinking and then he picked up smoking. And then like 6 months later, he was just like, I want to stop smoking. And I was like, hey, I'm right there with you, man. We'll stop together. And so he quit smoking. And then he picked up nicotine pouches, and then he got another addiction through nicotine pouches. And so his latest iteration is trying to get off of nicotine pouches. But
are you
the
getting off
TLDR
too,
of that, oh, not yet. You know, but I am struggling. You know, but I'm trying, and that's the important part. The thing is, the important thing about all of this is that, as a member, if you were raised without any of those vices in your life, you're not going to have those addictions pre-programmed into your system as a default coping mechanism when life gets hard. So when things happen, life gets stressful, you're not going to immediately knee-jerk to, oh, I need to go, I'm going to hit the drink, or I need to go smoke, or I need to do this. His life is that much harder and that much more difficult because he tells me this all the time. He's like, you know how lucky you are that you grew up without any of these addictions? Like, you learned how to process your emotions through a faith-based coping system. He's like, that is so precious and valuable, and you should be really grateful for that. And I look at that and I'm like, thank you, because here, I don't want to be the trauma police, but you've got all these ladies out here that are like, how dare they tell, like Johnny Harris, like you got Johnny Harris coming out here saying like, they made me be successful, they forced me, they pressured me into not becoming an alcoholic and to abstaining from premarital sex and all of that, you know? And it's just like, all right, Johnny, you know, trauma is what trauma does, I guess, these days. But anyway, so I do love that point. The other thing that I want to really drive home when it comes to the word of wisdom, well, first of all, there was a little side moment where she said, if you have a cup of coffee, the average member of the church will snatch it out of your hand like it's meth. Can we fact check that? How many Pinocchios are we going to give that one? Like, I'm going to guess 5. Is that the highest? 5 Pinocchios? Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, how many times have you gone to someone drinking coffee and just like slapped it, just like Nacho Libre slapping the corn, like, get that coffee out of my face? Like, holy smokes. I don't know where she grew up. Maybe she had a different experience.
Not even a missionary full of the Spirit did I ever do that. It was like, okay.
Right.
I haven't taught you the principle yet. You're not baptized. Like, you're good. Don't worry about it. And even after, it was like, hey, you just need to develop more of a testimony of this thing, and you'll give it up on your own. That's teaching true principles and letting people govern themselves. That's the whole point. But
right.
Yeah,
well, what this is going to come back to, Elliot Scooby, I love what you said there. Mm-hmm. Well, I love this principle that we all understand. There are a lot of ex-members of the church that don't believe they were taught that principle. Like, they believe that they were forced into this. Luckily for us, I guess you could say, we're like, no, this was a decision that I had to make. But I think that's where a lot of this stems from. Like, even this whole video that this lady made, she's trying to be like, I was forced to think that coffee was literally devil's juice, and I had to hate people who drank it. That's not the way that it was for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not how
the devil's Kool-Aid.
But the monster logos.
You sounded like Plankton right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The secret Krabby Patty formula.
Well, no, they'll say things like this.
That's my postmenopausal voice. Yeah.
They'll say this. They'll say, "Well, a meth addict, and somebody who drinks coffee are both not allowed in the temple." It's like, yeah, that's the stupidest thing you could ever say because the consequences for both of them are not the same. Sorry, I'm getting angry, but it's not the same. We don't treat it the same. No one treats it the same. No one sees someone doing meth and someone drinking coffee and like, well, that checks out. You guys must be friends. That's not how it goes.
Right.
Well,
but also, who is taking coffee in Utah to an LDS function and thinking that that's just like if you're a member, you're not going to take coffee into like the Ward Christmas party and just start drinking it in front of everybody and expecting no problem here. You might get a few weird looks. You might see a couple people like, Starbucks, huh? Is that the hot chocolate?
And
no? Okay.
We're the only religion that has like a food thing, right? Like where we say we shouldn't drink certain foods. It's just us, right? No one else?
And that is a good point. It's going back into the law of separation, all right? It's the law of separation. So just like the Old Testament, they had the law of Moses, they had kosher foods. Middle East, they have the Muslims, they have halal food. The reason why God has instituted in the Old Testament, one of the reasons why they instituted the law of Moses and the law about which included dietary restrictions it was a law of separation. It was to separate them from the world. And so I view this as a similar way, and this is how I've been able to explain it to my non-member friends, is when they ask me like, oh, so what's this all about? Well, it's simple. We've been asked not to drink these things or take these things, and we listen. It's kind of like a law of separation. There's nothing, like if you go too far, because you can go too far on the health side and say, well, it's all about the health benefits. And if you take that horse out of the stalls and start riding it, you get to a point where you're just like RFK Jr. and you're just like, stop taking all the vaccines and you have to start growing your own vegetables, and then that's a scary place to be too. And then if you make it 100% about obedience, then you're missing about and so I've just, in my mind, the way that I found easiest to explain it is this is a law of separation. God has always given laws of separation for his covenant people to separate them from the world.
Yeah,
and to show that they choose him over man. But go ahead, LDS Scooby.
Yeah, let me share something really quick with you guys and just get your thoughts on this. So this is section 29. And I want you guys to, I'm going to read these two verses and just tell me how this changes the word of wisdom in your minds. So this is Doctrine and Covenants 29, 34, 35. Wherefore, verily I say unto you, this is Jesus speaking, by the way. Wherefore, verily I say unto you that all things unto me are spiritual, and not at any time have I given unto you a law which was temporal, neither any man, nor the children of men, neither Adam your father whom I created. Behold, I gave unto him that he should be an agent unto himself, and I gave unto him commandment. But no temporal commandment gave I unto him, for my commandments are spiritual. They are not natural or temporal, neither carnal nor sensual. How does that change the word of wisdom for you guys?
Solid question. Roy, you start. Oh, Sam raised his hand. Sam, I'm calling on you.
So I've been fortunate to have conversations like this with Scooby, and he's actually brought this up, and I think it's very similar to the way I think about it. I think about it more so with the principle in mind. So I think of the lower law and I think of the higher law. And I'd like to think of that with everything that is commanded of me. So like I'm commanded to minister, right? So what's the lower law? And this is kind of getting into what Scooby's talking about, the temporal versus this, essentially the temporal versus the spiritual. Because I do think that there can be both aspects. There's a benefit temporally, but there's also the real benefit, which is spiritual. So kind of segueing off that a little bit into lower versus higher. The lower would be stuff like it's a law that's been given, and I'm gonna follow it. So it includes coffee, tea, tobacco, right? Those things specifically. Right. And then there's the higher law. So the higher law would be, what principle am I gaining from this? What spiritual thing am I understanding from this revelation that Joseph Smith has given? And I think that's where you get into things like, okay, am I actually truly an agent now when I'm addicted and require these substances? And so that in and of itself can kind of segue into like deeper things where it's like, I don't even look at, I don't even look at soda anymore. If I even see a vending machine, I'm going up to it and I'm unplugging it or cutting the cord.
I'm talking to somebody's manager. Yeah.
Yeah, it can get to that extreme, but
militant.
Yeah, I can get militant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batman, vigilante. I don't know if that's a
right. I am vengeance.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but the same thing applies, right? And you can apply it to anything else. Like, why do I minister? Well, I'm assigned them, and I have to go do it. Why do I go to Elders Quorum?
Right.
Well, because I have to attend all my meetings. Instead of, well, I go to Elders Quorum because I want to be strengthened and I want to strengthen people. I do my ministering because Jesus, if he was here, he would do it. And I know, and I actually truly love these people, so it's not a burden for me anymore, And so I think I look at it the same way. I don't look at it as a temporal thing, like it's going to benefit me, physically, which it does, but that ties into the spirituality. Like if my body is temporally strong, then I can better listen to the Spirit.
I see what you're saying.
Oh,
I agree with that.
I gotta come in.
Get off my
Yeah, go for it.
pony.
Just with what Scooby said, I mean, when you asked, what do you guys think about it once you read this? And I think about the quote that Elder Neil Anderson said. He said, spiritual questions demand spiritual answers from God. And so when I think about any spiritual life, it's like, hey, if I want to learn if this is applicable to me, if this is good for me, if this is truthful, then I have to inquire of the Lord, not just go on social media, get some rage traps, and then, go to some pastor that is an influencer and is going to teach me truth. And that's why I feel in the world right now, like people are so confused because they go and find their facts through social media instead of inquiring of the Lord. And even without inquiring of the Lord, like to me, the word of wisdom always made sense. I grew up in Mexico surrounded by, I was always the only Latter-day Saint, always. And my friends would always, when I was a teenager, would always invite me to do drugs, to do all these kinds of things, but I never participated. And to me, I feel like, because I think my parents did a great job honestly, they did a great job. I never felt that it was imposed. In fact, it just made sense to me. They always told me like, hey, when somebody offers you a cigarette or like alcohol, you just say no because you love your body. You want to take care of yourself. And to me, it just made sense. And I also have some uncles, some family members who did not do that. And I could see their lives. I could see their struggles. And to me, I just felt like, dude, that just makes sense. I'm just going to do it. And it just makes sense. So when somebody offered me stuff, yes, they would make fun of me, but then I would actually take pride on it and be like, yeah, I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. And then my friends would be like, oh yeah. And in a party, when I would go to parties in Mexico, they'll be like, no. Don't give Mosiah alcohol. He's like a Mormon. Give him some, they would bring me juice for me. It's like, hey, this is the juice for Mosiah. And everybody made fun of me, but then they'll respect me. And I just took pride on it.
That's fantastic.
I took pride on it. And so to me, it just makes sense that in a life investment standpoint, makes sense. I just don't want to have something that impairs my ability to make decisions. I see my friends growing up that they were just drunk and then they just couldn't make any decisions. They got into accidents. They just make horrible decisions. And so to me, growing up, it's just always made sense. I didn't understand that as a spiritual law, but it just kind of makes sense.
I think
preach that.
There's also like a part of this for me, which is so hard for me to articulate this to people, and I'm going to I'm going to lean into the cult mindset thing that people throw at us. But I'm a loyal person. I'm a loyal guy.
Loyal.
My mom and dad, I'm loyal to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm loyal to my wife. I'm loyal to my kid. I'm loyal to my brothers. Something's going to happen with my brothers, I'm taking their side. It's what I do. And when the church that I belong to that has benefited me so much and benefited those around me so much, when the leaders of that church asked me to not drink coffee and tea, that's my church. These are my people. Like, yeah, I don't do that. Why? Because I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. And I know that doesn't sit well with people, but I think it's not bad for people to realize, like, you can follow the standards of the church because you want to follow the standards of the church. You don't have to have a scientific, theoretical, da-da-da-da-da. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I don't drink coffee, I don't drink tea, and I don't drink alcohol. Like, those are the things that I don't do because I'm a member.
Hey,
and
there
if
you
it
go.
changed,
And I don't drink white monsters.
if we're now allowed to drink coffee, if someone well, if it changed, if someone said we're now allowed to drink coffee, guess what? I drink coffee now. I'm a member of the church. That's what I do. Like, that's the thing. And if they said don't drink, you know what I'm saying? So I'm loyal, and it's not bad to be loyal. It's good to be a loyal person. So don't feel guilty if you follow the commandments because you ought to. That's good.
There you go. That's interesting. I actually had the opposite experience of Mosiah because I grew up in northern Utah. And so when people were drinking around me who shared my same values, quote unquote, I was looked at as very uncool for not drinking or anything like that. So what I would actually do was just kind of lie to people and say, they would offer me like cigarettes or drinking or alcohol and stuff like that. And I would just tell them I'm trying to quit. And then for some odd reason, that would give them some mad level of respect for me instead of, it was weird, but that was my coping mechanism. I was just like, I'm trying to quit. And they're like, respect. But if I were to tell them like, no, I don't do that, they'd be like, how dare you? You're oppressed. This is traumatic, you know? So kind of weird there, but
Go see
totally
a
get
therapist.
that. You need to see a therapist, yeah.
That's crazy.
So the other thing, go ahead.
The other comment I was going to make is that we often talk about like what we can do because of the word of wisdom, but nobody is actually talking about what the word of wisdom actually tells you that you can do. The word of wisdom in section 89, it actually tells you some of the things that you should try. Like I actually have the list as all wholesome herbs, every fruit in the season thereof, flesh of the beast be used sparingly, all grain is good, wheat for man, right? So there's a lot of things that we can do. And the thing is that people just want to go and focus on restriction, like you're oppressed, you're a cult, like the Mormon church is just they don't let you do X, Y, and Z. So it's a marketing stunt. And so for everybody watching that they consume truth on social media, you just got to be aware of all these tactics, in my opinion, to kind of make you feel bad that you're just following God's laws. Because at the end of the day, we're not trying to follow Joseph Smith's laws. We're not trying to follow my parents' advice, your parents' advice. Like we're trying to follow God, and God uses prophets. Prophets have revelation from God, and then we're trying to follow what's God's word. And it's not about control. It's not about restriction. Because what it does when you follow commandments, it's the opposite. It actually allows you to make more decisions, to have the agency. Your agency is not impaired. But when you have substances that control your agency, you actually limit your ability to feel the Spirit and make decisions. And so if we're going to talk about what we can do, yes, if we're going to talk about what we can do, we also have to talk about what we are, the benefits of that, both equally, right, to be intellectually honest.
I like that. Yeah. So the other side of this is greater spiritual sensitivity, which is going to help you in all facets of your life. So the other thing that I wanted to point out real quick, I think as a way, if I needed to explain this in like a very simplified way to somebody, I would say the word of wisdom is actually pretty comparable to Sabbath day observance. So Sabbath day observance, there are a few things that they have lined out that are pretty clear that you should be doing on the Sabbath, right? It's like you should take the sacrament
watching football
on the Sabbath, attend your meetings. And then there is a lot of gray area that they leave up to the members on the Sabbath. And they say, seek revelation and figure it out. So everybody's Sabbath day observance looks very unique based off of the revelation that they've received for themselves. So I view the word of wisdom in a very similar light as the Sabbath day. At the end of the day, prophets and apostles have said how you observe the Sabbath is a sign of your commitment to God and how you love God. And so I think it's probably a sign with the other commandments, but that's still not up to them or anyone else except for you to figure out for yourself. They shouldn't have to command you in all things. This is one of those areas where they're saying, figure it out for yourself. Do what you feel like is going to strengthen your relationship with God. And, don't police anyone else's standards. And I think that is the third and final topic that I want to touch down on is
well, can I say one more thing,
police.
Aiden?
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because what it sounds like ex-Mormons are saying is that it sounds like they're saying God ought to be more strict. It sounds like he's not strict enough. Coffee isn't good enough for him. They want him to take away caffeine, cookies, sugar. They want him to take it all. Like that, they would prefer an iron fist, I think. That's what it sounds like.
Right. No, totally agree with that.
Because, like, I mean, that's always the critique I hear. They're always like, wait, you can drink coffee, but why doesn't he take away crumble cookies? Those are unhealthy. It's like, wait, so you would prefer God tells us not to eat cookies? Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Do you need that ironed out too? Yeah.
Yeah, we just draw a line at coffee and tea. Everything after that, figure it out. No, they're like, no, the line should be drawn at crumble cookies. That's what, like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, the reason why, it goes back to what Mosiah was saying. The reason why crumble cookies is such a big issue is because Alyssa Grenfell has made it an issue when she tied Mormonism somehow into crumble cookies. I'm still trying to figure out how I did that one as her scriptwriter. but
backflips.
And backflips. But it's right in that subset of questionable categories from Alyssa, where she's just like, I can only imagine. She's just like pounding the desk in the middle of the night, just like, oh, what do I gotta put out? The algorithm needs something. I gotta feed it. And then she's just like, oh, crumble cookies. This is great, So I think it's all marketing, and I do 100% agree with Mosiah. I think most members of the church should take like a digital marketing 101 class, or just to figure out how algorithms work, and just to figure out the incentive structures for people like Alyssa and for most of the ex-Mormon and anti-Mormon influencers out there that are producing this content. Because I don't know, and I'd like to poll you guys. So how many of you guys have met an anti in the wild, like in person, IRL?
No. You need to hold on. You need to classify it first.
Oh,
are you saying anti-former member, or are you talking anti, like just a Protestant Christian?
I'm going to say anti-former member. We'll go that route. Yeah,
I have it.
Yeah, wait.
That is
do critical family members count, or are you talking about famous anti-Mormons?
Yeah.
Like what?
We're talking critical family members, but just because I don't think there are that many famous ones that enough people would meet them. But have you guys? How do they act?
Alyssa.
Like when you cross their paths in the wild, what happens?
They're chill.
They're pretty chill. Yeah, I've met a handful of these guys that call themselves antis. Online, you would expect these guys to show up to every single family reunion and baptism and marriage, like dressed like Rambo with a gun, just like gunning down everyone, just like, I hate all of you. But you meet them in person, they're great. They're polite, they get along with everyone. They get that this isn't the place to bring up your qualms with the church. They're fantastic, And I think that's what you're not. So there's this dissonance from how they are projecting themselves online versus how they are in real life. And that is something really interesting to explore, which if you understand marketing, you kind of understand what game they're playing. But love that call out there. But final segment, policing, okay? So we're going to get into policing. Oh, LDS Scooby, you were going to say something. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to try to piggyback off of your last point.
Go for it.
In Jacob chapter 4, verse 5, Jacob he's already talked with Sherem, who was an antichrist, and he's trying to help people to understand why God does what he does. And in Jacob 4:5, he says, behold, speaking of the prophets, behold, they believed in Christ and worshiped the Father in his name, and also we worship the Father in his name. And for this intent we keep the law of Moses, it pointing our souls to him. And I really love that. This is maybe a hot take. It's not like a controversial one, but it's kind of like a nuanced one. But in my life, the word of wisdom has brought more souls to conversion than any other principle that I have found amongst converts. It is,
really?
I've had so many people sit down with me, and when I say, "Tell me your story," and they say, "Well, one day I decided to listen to the missionaries and start reading the Book of Mormon. And when I went to prayer, I asked God if coffee was really that important to him. And I was like, oh, what a good, sincere question. That is real intent. And they always tell the most amazing stories about how God manifested to them that it was an important principle to them. And they said, since then, I've never taken another drink, or I learned how the Spirit spoke to me that day. And it's like, that is a principle with a promise. And that's what Section 89 says. You will find great treasures of knowledge, even hidden treasures. And I've always loved that, because as I've studied how grace transforms lives, it is the Spirit that's the actual sanctifying agent. Well, if you want the Spirit to be with you in your temple, how do you take care of it? The word of wisdom. And therefore, I can say, kind of to counteract the AI grandma again, is drinking coffee is not bad. Breaking the word of wisdom is. And that's the principle.
Bang!
Oh,
yes!
That's the soundbite.
It's all about
Unfortunate
Jesus,
slide.
baby. I love that. That was a bar.
Wish I had an air horn.
Micro.
Yeah, we need the deal with it glasses just to drop on LDS Scooby right there. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Clip it. Someone clip that. Make a reel, baby. Make a reel.
You can see that clip on Sam's channel from a couple of months ago where I said almost word for word the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you delivered it so well. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Memorize that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a good
the thing
principle.
is, no, it's totally good, because that's exactly what my friend, like my business partner. Oh, hold on. What'd you say, Roy? Oh, the anti's got his internet again. All right, so my business partner.
Scripting needs to.
No.
I said.
Yeah, my business partner. So he asked me one of the first times he met me and found out that I was a member of the church. He asked me, he's like, because he knows a lot of the people that work for Black Rifle Coffee Company, and they send him a ton of coffee. And so when I stayed at his house one time and he was making coffee in the morning, he was just like, "Hey, you want some?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm good, man." And he's like, "Do you care if I drink some?" I was like, "Dude, go ahead." Yeah. Feel free. Go for it. No problem. No harm, no foul. Because you have not made that covenant. You've not made a promise. So you don't have to worry about this. I have, and so I do. So totally agree with that point. That's fantastic. But yes, so third and final point, policing people's standards. This is one of the probably a cultural call out. If it is happening in church culture where people are coming after you and they're like, "Hey, what's that coffee machine doing over there?" Or if they're trying to, like what she said, take, quote, and I quote, "take the coffee out of your hand like meth," which I don't know. I don't know that members are going into meth houses and just like snatching everyone's hands, but if that is happening, that should not be happening. Okay, like if people, I think one of the apostles recently said that they are less concerned with where people are at on the covenant path and more concerned that they are facing the right direction. And I love that, because I think we just, as members, need to remember that people are at different points on the conversion path. You should not expect everyone to be at like the temple president level of conversion, and you should not browbeat anyone that doesn't match their level of energy. If they're not vibing like that, if like the worst thing that happened to them that week was that maybe they sneezed a little too loud in the celestial room, then, I think we give people a little bit of grace, and we say, "All right, hey, you're facing the right direction. You're willing to keep going. Let's do this." Any other thoughts on policing before we wrap up?
I agree completely.
LDS.
I think that is.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, is the internet? Are people attacking me? The antis attacking my internet again? Are we good?
They have been all over your internet.
Mr. Delin.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. But I agree. I think if you're a member of the church, it's way easier to love people than it is to try to change, like correct people.
Yeah.
So just choose that first. That's what Christ did. I think instead of just trying to correct people, he tried to love them first. And those who are willing to listen, listened, and those who are not willing to listen are burning in hell. So it's easier to love. I'm just kidding. They're not. We should just love first. We should
Spirit
love first.
Yeah.
I would just recommend 2 quick talks to people who are more interested on that. The Challenge to Become by then Elder Dallin H. Oaks.
Yeah.
Talks a lot about how doing the word actually helps us to become. And I would reference that back to his Grace is Sufficient by Brad R. Wilcox, where we are saved by grace. Make no mistake about that. Christ paid for every sin, every inadequacy, every shortcoming. But he now turns to us and asks us for something, and that is for our faith and our obedience. And by that, we can change or repent. By entering into covenants with him, we actually can receive grace in such a way that the Holy Ghost can dwell with us and transform us. So it's not just about being saved by grace, it's about being changed by grace. And we do that by doing what we can, which is just loving. And if we love him, we'll keep his commandments. So it's that's how we move along the covenant path, is by allowing the Lord to take us as far as the Lord will take us as far as we want to go with him, I guess is the way.
I like that. Well, I think in that talks, I think what Brother Wilcox said, I loved his analogy because he compared it to like piano lessons. He said, grace is like your mom paying for piano lessons. It's then on you to practice and to get better and better and better. And so not to get caught up on mistakes. So you're going to make a ton of mistakes. Mistakes are a feature of learning and becoming. And so don't get caught up on that. And I would say, like, the fastest to all members out there, the fastest way that you can get somebody out of the church, and this, I've seen this because I've been in elders quorum presidencies. I've sat in members' homes. I've sat in ex-members' homes where they've told me, like, yeah, somebody clapped back, somebody called me out for this. And I was just like, I'm not staying around for this. But the fastest way you can get people out of the church is by critiquing how they are choosing to worship and how they're choosing to live their lives as a member of the church. Like, if you want somebody out, that's how you do it. It's just as a member, just critiquing them, calling them out, telling them how, tone policing, all of that. So, Mosiah, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, you didn't cut me off, man. I was just eating my Chipotle.
Hey, I love that.
I'm sorry, man. I just haven't eaten. I think
word of wisdom say about Chipotle. Yeah. Just kidding.
There you go, brother. No, I just, I guess it's just to say my testimony. I mean, I can study the more I study, the more, I can try to rationalize it or anything. I just see it with the fruits of what I've seen, the outcomes in my life when I chose to do this, even though, yes, when I was a young guy, I was tempted many times to do it. However, I just see, I don't say it as to put myself like I'm better than now, but I've seen growing up with my friends, all my group of friends in middle school, the decisions that they made, and usually caused because they got into drugs. I have friends that are in jail. Actually, I have friends that got into kidnapping. I have friends that did all sorts of kinds of things, and it usually ended up because all these decisions they made. I am just so grateful that the church created, it's not the church, but like that God has created these commandments that have allowed me to make smart decisions. And I'm not nowhere where I'm not like perfect or anything like that. I have many mistakes and everything, but I just, with the word of wisdom, I just have like a special place in my heart because I feel like it provides me with like discipline and a little bit of like, hey, it's not just about tobacco, hard drugs or anything like that. It's not just about that. Sometimes it's about the habits that I'm doing that are not right. Like maybe I'm not sleeping well. Maybe like, hey, I gotta, it's taking care of my body, my temple. And maybe I need to get 8 hours of sleep because I'm getting 4 hours of sleep, right? Well, with kids, you can't avoid it, but I'm thinking about sleep because I'm not getting much sleep lately. And then maybe other things. So the word of wisdom actually makes me think about how can I respect my body so that way the Spirit can dwell with me, and actually I allow the Spirit to teach me truths that I need to hear and that God wants to communicate with me. Because if I'm drunk, if I'm doing all these drugs, or if I'm just not taking care of my body, I'm not sleeping well, I'm limited the ability for the Spirit to tell me what I need to hear. And to me, that's a huge principle. I love the word of wisdom because of that. I like love that. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Hey, there we go. Amen to that. That's like a whole Jocko Willink, discipline equals freedom. You want more free time? Implement a more disciplined time management schedule.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love John, by the way, once said commandments aren't a sign saying keep out. They're guardrails that teach us to live on a higher level. And I've always loved that. It's people think it's a bunch of these no's and whatnot. It's like, don't you understand? You could live a much better life if you weren't worrying about these problems. And I always love that because there was this there's a story of this girl that she was being made fun of because she kept the law of chastity, and she goes, "Why are you making fun of me? I will never wake up with somebody that I don't know. I will never wake up needing to go schedule an appointment with a doctor to see if I have an STD or if I'm pregnant. I will never have to do these things." And it's like the same principle relies on with the word wisdom. I will never be in a drunk driving accident that's caused by me. I will never have to worry about coming home and accidentally, saying or doing something to my family because I didn't have the self-control because I was inhibited. Like those kinds of things. And so it's a principle with a promise. I mean, that's the only thing that keeps coming back to mind.
I love that. Awesome. Well, I think we are getting close to time on this one. So until next time, hopefully, Paul, you have a takeaway. Paul, let me see his name. Paul Riccio. Hopefully, we've answered your question, and hopefully, Grandma can get off of TikTok for a while and just spend some more quality time with her daughter. Maybe help her pour. That glass looked a little heavy. So, Mom, maybe help your daughter a little bit. Maybe make some family home videos. You don't have to be on TikTok. That's all right. That's okay. We got plenty of antis.
One prompt away.
She's one prompt away. That's right. So for the next prompt, a little less wine, mommy. That would be great. And so until next time, we've got Roy at the Iron Rodcast. We've got LDS Scooby. Check him out on TikTok. We got King Mosiah. He's on Instagram. We got Sam St. Laurent at Through the Mist. He's on YouTube. Check him out there. My name is Hayden Holm, and this is Salty Saints.